So those people who think that by filing and paying income taxes, they're doing a safe thing to do, just don't want to take any chances. I'd rather be safe. No. I don't want to go there. I'm a libertarian. I'm an anarchist, but I'm going to play safe and just pay my income taxes because I want to get in trouble. Think again, my friends.
From Anarchapulco, Mexico, this is Anarchast.
Hey everybody, welcome to Anarchast, show for anarchy on the internet. I've got a great first-time guest coming on. We're going to be talking all about taxes and extortion and theft of the IRS. And of course, I've had Sherry Peel-Jackson on talking about that, and she'll be speaking at Anarchapulco 2020. And I got somehow introduced to the founder and the president of Freedom Law School. His name is Peymon Mottahedeh. I'm sure I butchered his last name a little bit. It's sort of an Iranian Jewish last name or something like that. Very interesting, especially considering what's going on in Iran right now. But we're going to get into all kinds of stuff about how to avoid being extorted by the IRS. And he's got quite a track record. I looked into it a little bit, not too long, probably 15 minutes. And looks like he's been doing some amazing stuff. So instead of just talking to him personally and figuring out what he's doing, I thought, let's just do it live. Let's do it live like that guy on, who is that? F it, we'll do it live. We'll just do it live. We'll figure out who he is and what he's doing. And you guys can check it out. And it sounds very interesting. So I'm very interested in this because, of course, we want to help as many people as possible, not get extorted and not fund criminal and terrorist organizations like the government. So Peymon, it's a pleasure to have you on. And the first question I have to ask you, though, is how did you become an anarchist?
Well, I was, born an anarchist. Since I was a small child, I always believed in live and let live in school. And I didn't like bullies trying to dictate and control people. Then second stage of that is when I came to America in 1977 from Iran. And I took some economics classes in University of California. And I read the book Free to Choose by Milton Friedman about free markets, how that works in my economics classes. And I came across the term libertarian. I thought, okay, freedom lovers are called libertarians in America. Great, I'm a libertarian, I guess. And then third stage of that was after I've heard that there's no law requiring people to file and pay income tax in America in 1992. And I realized there's actually a freedom movement in this free country, which I was quite amazed to find that we have a freedom movement in this country that's supposed to be free, but it's not, obviously. And then I heard from some of my friends about two books, one by Law by Frederick Bastiat that I really should read, and Lysander Spooner's book, the great lawyer, freedom thinker in the 1800s, called No Treason, The Constitution of No Authority. And I came across a reading of a Law by Frederick Bastiat by Ed Griffin on the audio, a reading that he did. And it was a bootleg copy, and I loved it. And I called Ed, his number was on there. I said, look, I got a bootleg copy of your audio here. I found somebody, I want to get it out to everybody. Can I buy it from you wholesale and sell retail? And he said, sure, how much do you want to pay? So how about if I get 100 of them for maybe $1 each, And he said, okay, go for it, no problem. So I started selling them, and now I give it away, by the way. And then I read the Lysander Spooner on the Constitution of No Authority. And I thought, wow, now this is the man that got it, the right Lysander Spooner. But the terms don't matter. I don't think even Lysander Spooner called himself anarchist or libertarian. He was just freedom and responsibility. They're two sides of the same coin. That's basically for me.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned some great names, Lysander Spooner, Bastiat, Edward Griffin. Those are all amazing names in the sort of history of the philosophy or ideology of freedom, which, as you pointed out, kind of shocking to you. You probably came from Iran. You heard you're going to the land of the free. Then you get there, it's like, this isn't very free. And of course, a big part of that is taxation, which you pointed out isn't even kind of constitutionally allowed. I actually don't know this part that much because I actually don't even care about the Constitution. I'm like, just leave me alone. I don't care what documents you've got. But this is kind of important, especially for people who live in the U.S., to actually understand what this taxation is and actually how that you don't even have to, according to you, I don't know what the word you'd use, but you don't have to really do it. And you've actually got some amazing history of helping people, and even yourself, I think, and you've actually won in court and all that kind of stuff. So just start at the beginning telling people about what you know about taxation in the U.S.
Well, like you said, notwithstanding the correct statement of Lysander Spooner that the Constitution was signed by a bunch of people that are dead and gone. So really, as a matter of law, the Constitution has no authority as a matter of law. But given that we live in a world as it is right now, a bunch of people with guns and tanks and rockets and drones, they could assassinate you if they want to, like they did this Iranian general. That's where the world we live in. So I found that, a freedom lover has a prerogative to use the tools that are available to him to be free. Even your enemies own tools, their own constitution, their own laws. So I do that. The Constitution was supposedly written, meant to restrain and limit the government of the power of the government, fine. And the laws were supposedly written by the people to, protect our rights. And so when you look at that closely, you find out there is no law that requires the average American living and working in America to file and pay income tax. I came across this in 1992. And I remember telling the lady that I heard on that talk show radio program in LA, I said, look, I don't want no opinion. I want to see the law. There's no law, you're telling me? I mean, I believe there should be no income tax at all, but I want to see some legal thing you claim. So I went to a seminar for $40 and she just blew me away. She showed me their own book. Here's the Internal Revenue Code. This is the laws of the federal government when it comes to income taxes. This is the whole thing. You see that?
Cow. I've never seen it before.
Toilet paper, thin piece of paperwork. You see that?
Holy cow, that's huge. It's like a phone book.
So she showed me some parts of that on the screen. I was blown away. I thought, man, like I said, Jeff, to me, America was John Wayne in Western movies. Be all you want to be. You're free to do what you want in America, as long as you do not violate others' rights and keep your agreements. That's it. That's the way it's supposed to be. It was a lot more that way in the 1800s and before. Now it's changed. So I thought, as a Libertarian Party activist, which I was there for several years, very active in the party in the late 80s and early 90s, I want to get this out. People need to know about this. They've been lied and ripped off, and the laws are on the side, even according to the government. So I just got into the whole thing like both feet when I was 29 years old. I'm 57 now. And as I got into it, I just got more excited. I knew that I found my life's mission of getting the truth out to the people. I love the truth. I love freedom. So this has been my path of discovery, education, and just get out to as many people as I can.
That's great. We're definitely on the same page as far as that goes. And so let's talk a bit further about what you actually do. So you have the Freedom Law School, and I think you've been fighting them in court in various ways. Give us some of those stories and examples.
Well, what I did is I started teaching classes to my local patriots in Southern California back in the mid-1990s. And by 96, I realized I was up to something bigger than just teaching classes. It became a formalized classes. I started a school called Freedom Law School, a law school dedicated to freedom. And Jeff, what's amazing about that to me is I thought, man, in this free country, there's got to be a law school dedicated to freedom, teaching freedom and principles of freedom and law. So they're going to come sue me, close me down for I'm infringing on their name. But that never happened. That never happened. So, okay, I'm on the right path. I start teaching. Then I start traveling across the country, doing seminars in the late 90s. And then people were asking me, Peymon, listen, I don't have the time. I don't have the time to learn all this stuff about the law, you know. I'd rather pay you to take care of this stuff for me. You know, you're so good at it. And, you know, to me, I like to help people fish for themselves. I like to help you be strong and independent for yourself. Don't depend on me or anybody else. You know, I like to help you be stronger. But then I understood people want some help. They want to get some expertise. No problem. We contract with a kung fu expert, whatever specialist to do the job better. So I realized maybe I should offer that as well. So in 2001, I created these programs. It's kind of like remember they call it the voluntary government principle. You know, we have this government by force imposed on us. But my idea was more like Lysander Spooner. I thought, you know what? Spooner's idea was we all voluntarily come together. We pitch into a fund or government or association, whatever you want to call it, that we choose to be in, and we can get out whenever we don't like it. And within our group, we come up with arrangements that we're going to protect each other from all the crooks and criminals and thieves out there, especially the ones that claim to be in government. So I did that in 2001, and I created programs, you know, that do that Royal Freedom Package, Simple Freedom Package, Beginner's Freedom Package, different levels that people can participate in. And it's been a lot of fun because I'll be able to be the art for myself and my students. And one of the interesting things that happened about in 1999 was one of my students in 1997 was a criminal investigation division agent of the IRS, a special agent. This guy's job was to put people in jail over taxes. And he heard about this income tax issue, and he was referred to me by a friend, and I educated him about this whole income tax fraud. So his name is Joe Banister. When he heard about this, and I educated him along with others, he wrote a book about the income tax fraud, wrote it to the IRS commissioner, the head of the IRS, in 1999, asked him to refute it. Show me the law that I'm supposed to, you know, require the average American to file income tax. Here's a copy of his book called Investigating the Federal Income Tax by Joseph Banister. His updated copy of that book. So I proofread the book, published his first edition for him, and he quit. And that was a pretty big hit in the freedom movement, as you can imagine. An insider from the IRS come and say the whole thing's a scam. The whole thing is a fraud. The average American doesn't have to file income tax by the Constitution and laws written by Congress. And so that's been a journey since, you know, 1999. We've had together, Joe Banister and I. And I'll be able to, you know, offer an income tax reward of $300,000 to have people show me the law that supposedly requires the average American to file income tax. And I've had it for 20 years. And you know what? Not one IRS agent, IRS lawyer, manager, or judge has ever even attempted to claim the reward. It's been publicly out there. And I've been under criminal and other parallel investigations by the IRS, Jeff, since 1993, continuously. I got documents that the meetings going on where there's 8 people get together to conspire against me and the IRS. We got a regular auditor and his manager, a collection agent and his manager, a abusive tax shelter promotion specialist and the manager, and a lawyer and the manager. They get together, I'm going to shut down Peymon Mottahedeh and Freedom Law School because he is trying to expose us, and he's our enemy. Well, I have the feeling is mutual. So they can do it. They came after me about, in fact, 10 years ago, Jeff. It's the anniversary of 10 years ago. They made some bogus taxes against me for 11 years of about $700,000. And I challenged them. You can't do that. And I met with them, and the IRS manager said, no, the tax is good. I went to get a hearing with the collection due process hearing, and she said, I'm here just to collect. You can't challenge the tax. So I went up to tax court, and the IRS lawyer said, no, you're entitled to hearing. Let's give it back to the IRS. And the new IRS guy, I talked to him, educated him about the law, and he said, Peymon, you're right. These are bogus taxes. I'm zeroing it all out. They had filed pages and pages of tax liens against me. All were removed, completely zeroed out, and the tax court also officially did that. So I've been it myself. I got students of mine that I've removed the taxes, illegal liens, levies, stopped them, removed them. One of my biggest victories is $4.6 million, which was removed to zero. And when I did that, I didn't realize that California claimed he owed them $1 million based upon the IRS's numbers. So then we get a letter from the California saying, oh, we zeroed out your taxes too. So on my website, which is livefreenow.org, all the income tax reward there, the victories are there, a lot of great free information is there to educate themselves about, the law and the rights. And I got the courses and freedom packages to help people live free. Because people, Jeff, they're so afraid of the IRS. And I thought, dang, why are we afraid of these public servants that's supposed to serve us? We are their masters. We need to act like their masters. They work for us. So I'm not buying the intimidation tactics of them. No way. I'm going to stand up. I'm going to do my best to beat them and help others do the same. I've done it successfully. Freedom Law School is the oldest, longest running, most successful tax truth fighting group out there, exposing Irish fraud and lies, free people for income tax, going back to World War II. And we're just getting going because I'm only 57, So now we're just getting ready to get it off because with the internet, Jeff, it's so much easier to show the law to people on the internet, just like that, on a search engine, and confront the government with the law and expose the fraud. Because my goal is to get rid of all internal U.S. taxes like Thomas Jefferson did. G. Edward Griffin, Jeff, has a program called The Perfect Tax, he calls it, a recording he did. And he says that the perfect tax is no internal taxes. If you want to bring somebody from the outside, import to the U.S., we tax the import. And that was a big accomplishment of Jefferson. He said that was his biggest accomplishment as a president. He abolished all internal taxes, no more alcohol tax or anything at all. So given the reality of the world, until we get to a complete libertarian anarchist state of humanity, I believe that's the good misstep goal that I'm trying to go towards. That get rid of an income tax, fraud, and the Federal Reserve and a fractional reserve banking system, which are robbing the wealth of people and making people poor and unhappy.
Totally agree. That's what I've been working on as well, especially the Federal Reserve side. And I think as far as getting to a much freer world, people stop paying taxes is a huge part of it. Obviously, that's how the federal government is mostly financed, along with the Federal Reserve money printing. But taxes is a big part of it. And so many anarchists out there, I'm pretty shocked or amazed sometimes how they will say things like, well, I'm just going to pay the taxes. I don't want to get in trouble. Excuse me. And for me personally, it's like, man, like, of all the people who've kind of fought for freedom in human history, and even look at the founding fathers of the U.S., and they're not the best, but Jefferson was pretty good, and all these guys are pretty good, and they tried to do something. It didn't work out whatsoever as of right now, but they tried to do something. But they were considered terrorists. They were tortured. They were trying to be killed all the time. They were in jail. And now we have a bunch of anarchists out there like, oh, I don't want to get in trouble. And it's like, oh, man. But what you're saying is, like, this isn't even something you might even get in trouble for if you know what you're doing.
Exactly. And Jeff, the fact of the matter is, these crooks and criminals, they have lots of money, they have power, literally guns and rockets and drones and tanks, and they use fear. And what you and I got, Jeff, and our friends, we love truth, and we love freedom, and we're good, loving people. So they got a lot, we have a lot. This is a battle between good, us, and evil. We're inside of love and goodness and freedom and peace and prosperity. They are inside of enslavement, fear, poverty, unhappiness. So that's the way I come from it. And I truly believe in that, this is in a way kind of a spiritual battle of good and evil. And if you come from that angle of truth and freedom and love, but do your homework. Don't be lazy and don't be cheap. If you do your homework, yes, you can beat them. And the fact of the matter, I'm going to tell you some basic numbers that will blow you away, Jeff. According to the IRS, they put every year about over 2,000 people in jail for tax crimes, so-called. However, less than 150 of them are non-filers. People who have not filed and paid income tax. The vast majority of people that the IRS puts in jail are those who voluntarily filled out a 10-4 income tax confession form. It's a confession form. It's not a return. They put the rope around their neck and they hand it to the IRS. Take it. Pull on it whenever you want to. And Joe Banister, my student, who was a former gun-carrying IRS special agent, he told me, Peymon, as a special agent, what I did when I want to go after somebody, well, the first thing I always did is I asked for the copy of their previous 1040 income tax confession forms and used the information in there against the individual. Standard procedure. Everything you put that 1040 form is going to be used against you, and you gave it to the IRS voluntarily so they can use it against you in a criminal case. And the chance of going to jail are 10 times more than if you don't file a 1040 income tax confession form. This is according to the IRS. And according to the IRS's numbers, back in 1986, there were 63 million Americans who don't file income tax. And to the IRS, looks like they were required to file and they didn't. The number's now about 80 million. About 140 million people file. So out of every 3 people, 2 file, 1 doesn't. That's a big number. But people are kept in fear, Jeff, by being ignorant. So what I do is I give them the knowledge they need to have to free themselves. 1. 2, I give them the opportunity to join voluntarily with a like-minded individual in our own association of freedom seekers, freedom lovers, to join hands. Because individually, as one, but together, 5 of us much stronger, 10 even stronger. Together we can fight back and defend ourselves from the crooks and criminals in the IRS and the government much more effectively.
Yeah, very interesting. Actually, I think you said a few thousand people were in jail for tax things out of 300 million. So that just goes to show, just for people who are like really worried about it, like they're not like it's not that many. There's not that many people who they actually go after. And then secondly, you kind of pointed out that most of the people who are in there actually have filed their stuff. And I actually felt the same way about it when I first saw these forms and stuff. I'm like, I bet if I fill this out, I'm kind of somehow agreeing to be a part of this stupid system in some degree or another. And I know many people that have never their entire lives filed anything, and they've never had a problem. So for the people who've done that, that's great. But there's also a lot of people out there, of course, have already been ensnared in the system. They've been fooled or tricked into it. And then there's also the people who work just regular jobs as an employee, and the tax comes right off their check. Do you have any kind of advice for people who have already kind of been in the system, they want to get out, or for people who just have their taxes taken right off their check?
Yes. On my website at livefreenow.org, Freedom Law School's website, I have on the education materials instructions for people to read the law, have a sample letter to send the congressman, and hyperlink to the exact copy of the law as published by government, and one U.S. Supreme Court decision. And I have people send it to their congressman, the 2 senators, and 1 House member to refute if they can. They cannot refute it because it's the law published by the government. Then they send that after waiting 60 days to their employer. Hey, stop withholding. They can do that. They can temporarily need to put exempt on the W-4 to stop withholding. No problem. People do that all the time. And we need to do more of that, Jeff. Because we need to stop the criminals being fed by us to destroy us with our own money. It's the most craziest thing. We are feeding the NSA to spy on us with our money. We have no duty morally, ethically, legally to pay for our own destruction, Jeff. So yes, I have that information there for free at livefreenow.org for people to stop the withholding and do it smart and safe. Because, Jeff, the government's corrupt. This U.S. Department of Justice is corrupt, and the judges, they're the deep state. They're trying to protect the corrupt system. So we got to do some extra preparation to make sure we beat these guys. And that's what Freedom Law School does. I want to make sure that when people get involved, get educated, they go in there prepared, because I want to make sure people win against the enemy of the American people, the IRS, the thieves.
Absolutely. Wow, this is great information. I wasn't aware of a lot of this. I didn't think there was any way to even get out of that withholding and all that kind of stuff. So there you go. For all the people out there who have been like, well, how do you do it? Well, Peymon's just letting you know how to do it right now. So that's absolutely amazing. And for everyone out there, please post in the comments down below what your thoughts, if you've tried this, if you've had problems, all that kind of stuff. But this is pretty amazing information. I'm really glad that we got connected.
And Jeff, let me share something else. What the government does is remember fear. Let me address the fear issue, Jeff, because that's a big point. They say, oh, Wesley Snipes went to jail. Or Al Capone went to jail. You could expect your enemy. You could expect that. They're going to try to do that to you. But you got to stand up like a man. Like the founding fathers, they took shots at themselves for the revolution they had for freedom, So education and preparation are very important in this battle. Wesley Snipes didn't do his homework. Wesley Snipes was misled by a bunch of misinformation and not prepared to get into the fight. And the government would just blast it out there, but if you take a closer look, you found out that, yes, the people that went out there, 3 things get people, Jeff. One is not doing the homework studying. Number 2, being cheap. Not want to, pay someone for freedom. For example, people want to go to an Anarchapulco. Guess what? They want to get a world education. They want to go out of the U.S. government jurisdiction in a country like Mexico, yes, they got to pay airline ticket, hotel, and register to pay you and all the people working with you to make this great event. We're going to get education information that we cannot get, a lot of it, in America. It's censored. There's a price to be paid. They can't expect it to be free, you know? And too often people complain about, oh, this costs money, that costs money. I tell them, hey, there's no get rich quick scheme, get healthy quick scheme, or be free scheme. You got to pay your price. You got to pay a price for freedom. And I tell people like Jeff, Berwick, others, myself, founding fathers, we paid a price for freedom. What price you willing to pay? If you only want to pay a price for freedom, you want to work with other experienced or new freedom of mind that people like yourself, now you're talking. Now you have a chance to be free. That's why, you know, Jeff, since 1999, I did annual freedom rallies like you're doing. I used to do them in California. And where we get over a dozen great speakers like Jedford Griffin, Congressman Ron Paul, Richard Gage, many of the speakers you have right now. I have these guys, they speak at my freedom events once or twice a year. And I did that because, you know, people want to know about these things, you know, and people, they got to pay for it. So freedom is there. It's up to people how committed they are. Don't be cheap. They don't get to be easy. You got to do some work yourself or pay someone else to do the work, and we're going to work together, and then you can live free in peace, prosperity, happiness.
Absolutely. Man, I don't know how I didn't know about you, or I don't even remember how we got connected, but you're my kind of guy. Like, we're on the same page 100%. And I've heard that a lot too about people. It's like, oh, it costs this, it costs that. It's like, yeah, you know, nothing's free in life, but you got to invest in yourself too, right? And these people are just like, well, I don't want to get in trouble. I'm just going to file the taxes. Like, you're almost working for the other team at that point. You're financing the bad guys because you're too worried to do a little bit of homework or to take a few risks, and that sort of a thing. So one of the person I apologize, I don't even remember who introduced us, but I get so many emails, right? And I get so many people trying to sell me stuff, and I've got this thing, I've got that, right? But there was something about when I was introduced to you, I looked into it, I was like, this one looks pretty good. But I get a lot, and I'm like, oh man, this is a total scam or whatever, something like that. This guy's just trying to rip people off. And so something about it, I said, okay, let's just go on Anarchast and talk about it, and I'll get a feel for you. And right now, my feeling is you're awesome. And one of the things that we were talking about was about you coming to Anarchapulco and speaking or doing something at Anarchapulco. But I told you, I believe, or some of your people or the people who introduced us, that we're only like a month away, so it's really tough to like switch things up now. But after hearing what you have to say, I'm just going to say, if you're interested, and if the people in the comments are interested, just put in the comments, I definitely want to see Peymon at Anarchapulco 2020, and if Peymon can make it, and if we can work something out, we'll definitely try to do it because we're totally on the same page.
Be happy to be there, my friend, you know. And let me just share something else, Jeff, about what you're doing. You know, there was a group called Global Prosperity, this like you do events like that back in 2000, and at PQI. Sherry Jackson used to be involved with them, and I went to one of the events out there. And I stopped doing my freedom events once a year in America back in 2014 was the last one I did that. And because I was doing too much. But I'm so glad that, Jeff, that you're doing what you're doing. Because in the freedom movement, there's a need for different people like you and me to focus on different things in different areas, that we all come together. There's no way any one of us can do that. And you had an interesting story of yourself I watched on your YouTube channel about how you get involved. It was very interesting, your computer background, to get into it. The same destination, we're going there. But I always felt that, you know what, someone else is going to come around and do this kind of big events and have these speakers like my good old friend, Jedford Griffin, or Congressman Ron Paul, and others to do these events and bring in, oh yeah, look at Richard Gage, oh, Luke, you know, all these guys I know, they're there, you know, because there's a hunger out there for this information. And I want to thank you and acknowledge you for doing a great job. I've heard from people you're doing out there putting the event together. So thank you for what you're doing. I really appreciate that.
Oh, thank you. And yeah, it's not easy. I don't know how yours went, but man, it is not easy whatsoever. But I think it is important. And I think, you probably haven't been to Anarchapulco, but if the people have gone, it's been quite amazing. And people are like, wow, this is like world changing type stuff. So hopefully we continue on with that and continue to grow it and people wake up. And I'm really excited about what you're doing. So I tried to keep these a little shorter, but is there anything that we didn't talk about that you'd like to mention, or definitely mention your website and anything you want to mention, because I'm all about what you're talking about?
Well, what I'd like to invite everybody to do is first go to our website at livefreenow.org and go get on our email list to get free education package mailed to you, free. Freedom also pays for it. Our students, our supporters, we pay to have new people like you come into the fold of freedom, to come to freedom, get out of slavery. So that's one. On our YouTube channel, Jeff, your followers, audience will find a lot of great information, especially if they go from 2018 forward videos on income tax. But they can go back. If they want to see Congressman Ron Paul at our 2000 Freedom Rally or 2005 Freedom Rally, what they said back then, or G. Edward Griffin, they can do that. It's on our YouTube channel. They want to hear me speak back in 2000, 2001. They can see my speeches there. Check me out to see that I'm real, They can do that. So then I suggest they go and educate themselves on our education materials tab. There's so much amazing information. They're going to say, wow. I'll give you one. This is one of my favorite ones, Jeff. I think you'll like this. A few years ago, the IRS went after the former chief judge of the U.S. tax court and indicted her for tax crimes. Now think about this. This lady, her name is Diane Krupa. She was a head tax court judge that rules on income tax cases against the people and the government, decided top authority on income tax law in the country. So the IRS has the audacity to go after her and her husband and charge her with various tax crimes, all based upon the 10-4 income tax confession form that she and her husband filed voluntarily and paid what they felt they owed the IRS. Okay, now think about it. Who can do a tax return correctly, accurately, bulletproof? You cannot be attacked than a tax court judge, right? This lady should be like the best. You're not gonna, she's gonna just rip the IRS apart if they come after her in criminal tax case, right? Because she knows the law. Well, guess what, Jeff? She knew that these 10-4 income tax confession forms are always blown up in front of the jury, and in the fine line it says that these are filed and signed under penalty of perjury. You swear to it that it is all true, correct, and complete. If it's not completely true, correct, and complete, guess what? They can put you in jail. Here's a rope around your neck, hand it to the IRS, put you in jail. So she knew that. So she was looking at going to prison potentially up to about 20 years or more. So what did she do? Did she fight it? No. She pled guilty and got 34 months of prison time. If you don't file for income tax, you get maybe 1 year maximum. Shara Jackson got for 4 years. She did 3 years. She was in jail, and she fought them and she lost. This lady, the tax court judge chief, didn't fight it at all. That was a good deal she got. So those people who think that by filing and paying income taxes, they're doing a safe thing to do. I just don't want to take any chances. I'd rather be safe. No. I don't want to go there. I'm a libertarian, I'm an anarchist, but I'm going to play safe and just pay my income taxes because I want to get in trouble. Think again, my friends. Look at the facts. You're going to see this lady's story and the documentation at Freedom Law School's website at livefreenow.org under education material tabs. Check it out, folks. And if you are believing of the red pill, let me tell you, my friends, you just swallowed a bunch of big red pills. Because when you get in there, the rabbit hole is going to get a lot deeper. And you're going to be so glad you did. Thank you for doing yourself a favor and take the time to free yourself.
Absolutely, man. It's been a pleasure. I'm going to have the links to your stuff all down below. I don't know what's going to happen because we're only a month away from Anarchapulco 2020, but I hope you can at least make it down no matter what happens. If not, definitely let's talk about 2021 to get you more involved because I love what you're talking about. And please, everyone in the comments, please check it out. Put any comments like, oh, I don't understand this, or I didn't like this part of it, just so we can all educate ourselves on what exactly Peymon's talking about. But it sounds amazing, and this is really something I've been kind of looking for. I'm like, there's got to be a way to get around this stuff. And like you just pointed out, it's just like people taking action and educating themselves and not having too much fear. That's what the whole system is based on, that, as you pointed out, and just standing up and doing these sort of things, and you can do them. So awesome. Really pleasure. I had no idea what to expect. I'd never talked to you before. I just got an email, and now hearing what you had to say, you're like we're going to be good friends, I think, in the future. Like we get completely along. So is there anything else you wanted to mention? Maybe just mention your website once more, or anything else you want to mention before we wrap it up?
livefreenow.org. And Jeff, I'll be happy to come to Anarchapulco. And when there's a will, there's a way, my friend. You want me to come? We'll make it happen. Even in 2020, my friend. We're on the same channel, my friend. It was destiny that we meet.
Awesome. Yeah. So we'll figure it all out. And please put in the comments down below what you think down below. If you like this and you want to see Peymon at Anarchapulco and that sort of stuff. And I'll leave it there. That's awesome information. And I hope so many of you people look into it because if Peymon's correct, and it sounds pretty like he is, we can start getting a lot of people out of slavery, start reducing the size of the government, wake up more people. We can really change this thing. So I hope everyone looks into it. So I'll leave it there. Please like, subscribe, share down below, especially anyone who's got any tax problems. Obviously, share this with them, and that's pretty much almost everyone in the U.S. So share it with everyone you know. This might get blocked, who knows, because they probably don't want this information to get out there too much. But we don't care. We're never going to stop. We're never going to stop until the slavery and the oppression and the tyranny is over, and in one way or another. So please like, subscribe, share down below. That's it for Anarchast, your hope for anarchy on the internet. Peace, love, and anarchy.
Anarchapulco, it's so hype, I'm trying to tell ya. This the event of the year and best vacation ever. Ron Potter, Jeffrey Tucker, just to name a few. Get your tickets, you don't want to miss it. You should roll through, talking politics to health and self-improvement to investing. So many things, not one thing. Learn how to live life unchained, yeah. 4 days vibing on the beach, time to connect. All about growth, way more than a conference. This is Anarchapulco, yeah. Let's go.
You ain't seen nothing yet.